Hi, I'm Speculative Dude. Welcome back to Speculative Dude Reviews. Now, the other day I did a review on the anime series and live-action movie of Initial D. Well, today I'm going to take a look at just one of several video games that's been involved in it. Initial D Extreme Stage.
As you can see, this game visually looks wonderful. Now, when I heard that this game was available for a PS3, I was psyched. I mean, who wouldn't be? I was a fan of the manga, I was a fan of the animated series, and I was a fan of the live-action movie. It just made perfect sense. The graphics are great. The cars visually look exactly like the cars they're trying to portray from the game, and the newer cars that are inserted as well.
Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to ask, hey, wait a minute, didn't Juario already do a review of this game? Yes, in fact, he did. But there's one difference. He really took the game as a positive, whereas I, on the other hand, honestly, I think the game is kind of mediocre at best. While the representation of the series is there, as a racing game, some of the flaws in it are really unforgivable. One thing that does, however, bug me is the input name menu. Now, most American games have the X as their select button, whereas a lot of the Japanese versions have the circle. Now, they do have the circle as a select button most of the time, but when that keyboard pops up, all of a sudden it becomes the X for no reason. So you will probably find yourself accidentally backing out of several menus unintentionally. It took me a while to figure that one out. Another thing that's kind of lousy is there's really no learning code in the game. Well, right at the beginning, even the first few racers, you pretty much have it based out how it's going to go. The only difference is which track you're using.
Almost every race goes out the same way. Either you jump out into the lead, or they do. At some point, whether you pass them early or not, they will either pass you back, or they will jump out to a seemingly insurmountable lead, and then slow down for no apparent reason. It really makes no sense at all. Because no matter who you're racing, at some point in the race, they are going to go blowing by you as if their car were on steroids. It's kind of ridiculous because no matter what car you drive, because everything is quote-unquote balanced out, it doesn't make any sense that their car suddenly becomes faster, then right after that will suddenly become slower again. One huge drawback is no matter what car you do, on some of the later stages in the game, you are going to oversteer. No matter what car. Believe me, on some of these tight roads, there's no way on earth your Honda Civic is going to be oversteering into a hairpin the way these do.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not unfamiliar with bad racing games, or even enjoying what would be now bad racing games. Some of my personal favorites were from the early 90s, which by today's standards are complete garbage. But there was still some factor of enjoyability in it. This one, the first time I played, I didn't lose a race until about halfway through. And Not because they weren't semi-challenging, but because they were all pretty much the same thing, just on different roads.
Now, I know what a lot of you might be asking, and that, well, doesn't that kind of make everything a little bit more fair? Normally, I would say yes, it does make a good balance, but when you're racing a cars that are clearly not balanced, even though in the anime, yes, the car has a chance, there's no way an AE85 Colt 11 is going to be able to keep up with a GTR 32. And in this game, no matter what car you pick, you've got a decent car.
Also, another thing, when there's no difference in the cars that you're driving, that takes away a lot of the A, fun factor, and B, replayability of the game. No matter what you drive, you're going to be driving the same, so as long as your personal skill level doesn't drop, neither will the cars. Now, normally I don't like to go on a rant about games because I like to think that there's something positive you can find in most games. And as I said, visually, this game is beautiful. I would be hard-pressed to find another game that is A, as detailed and accurate in the cars physically as this game is, or B, that honestly the race courses look just gorgeous. There may be some that look a little better, I'll admit, but not many. So, take that for what you will. Well, they got the graphics down right. It was just the driving that's messed up. Now, as I said, no offense to Juario when he did his review, because I actually did enjoy it, and it led me to this game, but I didn't find the game nearly as fun as he did. From the get-go on the game, it honestly just left me kind of bored. And I'm a guy that hasn't liked the last few Need for Speed offerings because they were the same way. Kind of boring. Biggest difference is, those cars at least varied in their abilities. These, sadly lacking. So, honestly, I would have to say, if you're able to play the arcade version of this game, by all means, go out and enjoy it. It's an arcade game. A home console game you can sit down and enjoy for hours on end, not so much. Sorry. I'd say give this one a pass on the home console. So, there's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Speculative Dude, out.